Today, I want to discuss a company called Applied Materials. We'll go over what the company produces and some of the key metrics behind the business. And finally, we'll go over the company's valuation as well as their projected earnings for this year and next, and I'll give my opinion on if this stock is a buy. So if you enjoyed the video, drop a like down below, and if you want to see more videos like this one, make sure to subscribe. Applied Materials is a company that has performed very well over the course of the last year. The stock is up over 77%, and in the last 5 years, it's returned over 400%. The big driver behind all of this success has been the increase in demand that the economy has seen around semiconductors. And Applied Materials has capitalized on this success around semiconductors as they are the second largest supplier of semiconductor equipment in the world. They supply equipment, services, and software for the manufacturing of semiconductors and electronics. On top of that, the company also supplies equipment for the producing of coatings for flexible electronics, packaging, and other applications. And with AI and cloud computing growing at significant rates, semiconductors are expected to follow suit. The current projections for 2024 are that semiconductor revenue will grow by about 17% this year. And obviously, as semiconductor demand increases, this will have a huge effect on Applied Materials' business model, as they are producing the equipment that actually manufactures these semiconductors. And even OpenAI's CEO Sam Altman is looking to increase the global supply of semiconductors by raising between $5 and $7 trillion to begin building his own semiconductor producing company. Currently, Sam Altman sees AI chips as a limitation to OpenAI's growth and wants to produce his own chips to try and advance and move along what OpenAI is actually capable of. And if he were to execute on this, this would most certainly involve Applied Materials. And even if that vision never comes to light, semiconductors are still a major part of everyday lives. They're used in PCs, smartphones, laptops, electric vehicles, and so much more. And this mass adoption of semiconductors over the course of the last 10 years or so has really had a big impact on Applied Materials' business. We can see that in their most recent quarter, they had two very solid top and bottom line beats, with EPS coming in at $2.13, which was almost a 12% beat, and revenue coming in at $6.7 billion, which was about a 3.5% beat. Over the course of the last year, top line numbers are relatively flat, $6.73 billion a year ago compared to $6.7 billion in the most recent quarter. However, we could see that they went through a very large growth cycle from 2020 all the way through till about 2022. However, from 2022 on, they have seen kind of relatively flat numbers. That is not really a concern overall. I think that this is a cyclical business. We've seen this in the past in 2018, where they hit a high of around $17 billion of trailing 12-month revenue. However, the revenue over the course of the next year and a half fell down to around $14.6 billion. And their bottom line growth has been very strong over the last 5 years as well. We can see over the last 2 years, again, relatively flat for their bottom line EPS numbers. However, if you go back to 2019 at the start of the year, they were bringing in around $3.61 of trailing 12-month EPS. However, that number has grown all the way up to $8.50 of trailing 12-month EPS. And one of the ways they've helped their earnings per share is by decreasing their shares outstanding. We can see that back in 2019, they actually decreased their shares outstanding year over year by almost 10%, which is absolutely insane. A lot of these companies, 2 to 3% is a solid number. However, Applied Materials tripled that with a 9.9% decrease year over year. And more recently, they've seen anywhere from around 3% all the way up to 5% decreases year over year. The only real downside that I've seen with Applied Materials is their valuation. They're currently trading at a forward P ratio of 24.88. And if you look a year ago at this time, they were trading a lot closer to a forward P ratio of a 15. So right now, the valuation appears to have creeped up in a major way over the course of the last year. However, they could catch up on earnings, and by decreasing their shares outstanding and really start bringing this number back down to these levels of around 15 to 20. However, if Applied Materials continues to grow at the rate that we have seen over the course of the last 5 years, they could just command a higher valuation. Right now, analysts are projecting growth to slow down slightly in 2024, with the average EPS estimate coming in at $8 $8.25. This compares to $8.05 a year ago, so very small amounts of growth over 2024. However, in 2025, analysts are expecting growth to pick back up, with the average EPS estimate coming in at $9.55. For me, Applied Materials is not yet a company that I'm looking to purchase. They have had a large run up in just the last few months, and that has kind of turned me off from this stock. I put it on a watch list about 3 or 4 months ago because I thought this could be interesting with all the hype we have been seeing around Nvidia, and it did prove to run up in a major way. However, I want to buy it at a fair valuation to a discounted valuation, and right now I think it's trading at the higher end of where it should be valued at, especially if we see any slowdown of semiconductors or the AI industry. That could have an impact on Applied Materials. So right now for me, it is not a buy. It is still a company that I am watching, and maybe if it pulls back into what I deem a more reasonable range, maybe 17 forward P ratio, then I might look to add a small position in this company. But keep in mind, do not buy a company just because some random guy on YouTube talked about it. Make sure you are doing your own research and looking into companies that meet your risk tolerance as well as your time horizon. So with all that said, I hope you enjoyed the video. If it did, drop a like down below. And if you want to see more videos like this one, make sure to subscribe. And as always, guys, have a wonderful rest of your day.